Hey guys. All right, let's do this. Let's blow this clam bake. You guys ready? Excited? I don't know why that one is that one better? That actually is better, isn't it? That's the one I made. All right. That's so much better. Is that better? I don't think that's better. What the heck? Hold on. What the hell is that? Let me see something here. Give me 1 second. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, that's fine. I'll figure out with the life of me. I don't need this. Why don't you have that there? What's that do? Does I get rid of it? This? Why do I have this little thing here that I don't care for? I guess I really shouldn't care. Whatever. I don't care. I'll just let it go. But it does bother me for some reason. All right, cool. Oh, maybe. All right, let's do it. Sorry, guys. There's a lot going on today. Like a lot. This is getting pretty interesting with the market in and of itself. So you actually jumped today, and I'll show you what I mean by this. So we'll go to here on the Qs, and your put wall was here. And last night, you're jumping to here. So the put wall's actually gotten tighter. So you're probably, I'd be really surprised, like if you break that on a 3-day weekend. I mean, it could happen, but you're pretty wedged in today. You don't really have a lot of room to go. So like there are your levels today on, your call wall and your put wall here. And, I'll make that bigger so people know what it is, but that's really something. And it's jumped for the first time in a while. So if I put this here and open that up like that, I just wouldn't sleep on that. I think that's super important to get. And I'm actually really surprised they did it and then it moved like that today. That was a little surprising to me, to say the least. Not really overly something that you would expect today. So let me just go and take a look at this. A matter of fact, I mean, you haven't been at 620 for, ever in 26. So they're definitely moving it up. And they moved the hedge up too, which is kind of interesting. But I think there's something to that today where it's just getting tighter.
Movers, GE, Vernova, PNC, Regions, State Street.
All right, let's just stop that. All right, okay. All right, so that's done. All right, cool. So let's go to the SPY for a second. And out of the SPY, let's go take a look at this real quick. But I just thought this was super interesting that they got tighter today. And even here, we're getting tighter again. Not that it matters because you've been here before, but I don't really care about this. But it does open up today where you're back to 700 up here. And you're down here at 680. Right down here. So I do think there's something to that they're raising that. But more importantly, I like that they're raising the put wall on the Qs because that's been a real problem lately. And maybe we're finally going to get through that. I mean, the Qs really haven't gone anywhere in months. So there might be something, there might be something to that And I'll have to say in a second here. Let's see how this is going. Yep. Bum, 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 bum.
Autofill.
ASTS got added to Golden Dome, and there is a rumor, although it's not by the company, a lot of rumors floating around that this thing that's in space, this Bluebird 6, is unraveling and everything's going fine. We'll have to see how that goes, but we're starting to see signs of that, that is true. So we'll say it's all speculation. I mean, I don't really have anything from the company itself. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But you got a lot of super technical levels today. And I think this one's going to be pretty active. Let's do the ES real quick. And then I promise to take questions. So if we really look at the market today, expect light volume and de-risking into the weekend. I think that's a fair assessment considering what you have going on right now. Let's go take a look at this on the 4-hour and start there. You're going to have a lot of that this weekend, I think, where let's just go to this. Perfect. You can see that area. And then from there, we'll go to the 5. Perfect. And you can see we hit it again yesterday. It's crazy how that works, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Like right into it. So, yeah, I mean, that would really be my levels for the day, like the big levels for the day. I mean, I don't think it's anything harder than that, quite frankly. I don't know that you're going to break point of control, and I don't know that you're going to get above this. So that's really how I say it. I don't think we really need that on the screen. I don't think that's very helpful right now. So, and we'll see how that goes. What else do we have here that I have to pay attention to? Yeah, that's super interesting. All right, cool. Let's do the NQ, and then we'll go from there. And then I'll take questions. There's so much going on today. Also, the news about Micron's pretty big deal. The reason that people are buying it because that guy bought it is solely because he is a former CEO of Taiwan Semi. So people are pretty excited that he's getting involved with the company, even though he's a director of the company, to go into the open market and buy 8 million. And you can see your levels right there. I mean, it's absolutely perfect, that point of control right there. And then you can see the value high. I mean, it's very clear that we're dead on with our levels when we look at this, right? So you can see them. I mean, it's not rocket science. You ran right in the point of control and you reject it. So, and you can see that that's an area of interest. So it is what it is. I wouldn't put it past that, and I wouldn't think anything more of it. But that's definitely how I say it. So, you can always look at these like minor levels, but the real big dogs right there, and you just reject it. I would think they de-risk going into the 3-day weekend between China and, you got China this weekend, right? You have Iran. You got a lot of moving parts. Greenland. You have a lot of geopolitical stuff. So, we have to see how that plays out. But I get my data, William, and I do it myself. I have 2 services that I pay for. One's cheap and one's expensive. I would tell you to make sure that you get the newsletter that I've been remiss on, but I do put it out. But make sure you get the newsletter because I'm going to come out with a product. It's actually going to be free at first while we work through the kinks of like a Squawk box. And also I'm going to have my put walls and call walls all over this thing. So you'll be able to have access to it via writing. And then eventually I think we'll be able to dump them in TradingView. I think that's where we're going with it. But just make sure you follow on Substack. I think there's a link in the description because they're going to get access to it for free. Just as we work the bugs out of it. I'm pretty close to kicking it off. Like I should have a thing going on by next week, at least with the Squawk Box and news. So, but there's services that do it. I personally think they're lacking. So, you know, and if you're in the community or people in the community, if you ever ask about like the levels that I use, people are they're pretty good. I'll just leave it at that. So I think a lot is lost on like the movement of and the positioning. I'll just leave it there. I'm not going to spend the day on it, but yeah, I would just follow there. John got beat by Jacob. Jacob coming in at 7 o'clock. What's your John? John slept in today. Someone just upgraded VST, bro. Someone upgraded them this morning. I see it. I don't know if that's the one I want to play, but I see it. I don't know. You know, I'm not, someone upgraded them today. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling CEG. I don't think that they're the plays. I think if they get smoked, they're the plays, but I just don't feel like they're the plays. LECO, Lincoln Electric. Yeah. This kind of stuff makes so much sense to me. It's like Ferguson. I haven't been watching this one, but I know I'm going to like vomit when I see the chart. But like these things make so much sense to me right now. And the build out that's coming is going to be enormous. You know, we're looking at like 4 or 5% GDP growth in the US. Like it's crazy. And people think you're going to go into a recession. People really should take an econ class. So I think Ferguson's like that. I think Lincoln Electric, like, yeah, 100%. Like all this stuff. I 100% think you're dead on with this. You know, this kind of stuff, especially when it starts doing like this. And also, Jacob, when you see that kind of trade, if you take a look at that kind of trade, right? And then you overlay that, like everything I do is top down, right? So if I overlay a trade like that, and then I look at something like the transports, I hate that the symbol's the same. It drives me nuts. Not because I hate the company. I just hate that I have to remember to click off. But I don't know if this was real or not. I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But if you start looking at this, you're breaking out of that area, right? All right. So you have the transports breaking out. You have the industrials breaking out, and I've got small caps breaking out, and people are like, "Oh, we're at the end of a cycle." I'm like, that's not how any of this works. Like, none of it works that way. You're at the beginning of the cycle, not the end of it. So whether you want to hear that or not, I don't care. I mean, it is. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean the cycle has to be tech. Usually is, but it doesn't mean that it has to be. And I think you're seeing the great rotation out of the Mag 7, for rightfully so. But when we look at all those pieces, yeah, I mean, maybe owning a commercial electrical company that goes and does these build outs is probably not the dumbest idea in the world. You know what I mean? Like, makes a lot of sense, dude. Oh, that's why, because it covers my face. Good morning from cold New York. I know. I just was looking at it because like I have a 3-day weekend and I'm supposed to be at a conference on the 24th. I can do it either Zoom or go. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go. And then I looked at the weather. I'm like, I think Boeing's set. Yeah, I think Boeing's set. I think you're there, bro. I think you're finally there. And I think you're finally there. And I think you have stabilization in the dollar. You have stabilization more in industrials. So yeah, I do think you're there. And people are starting to look at what's going to happen down the pike. So Powell will be out, worst Fed Reserve chairman like in the history. Like he was just so goddamn awful. I can't wait for him to get out. Excuse the language. But man, he's a mess. And I just can't wait for him to go. I really can't. And so they're going to cut rates. They're going to spur the economy, and we'll be good. But yeah, names like this. I was looking at BA yesterday. I was looking at CAT. So, yep. I think you're on. I think you're onto it. I think you can get up there. Yeah, I don't know we're going to go anywhere today, bro. I don't know. The trades that make the most sense to me, and the trades that I like, what have I really done in retail recently, John? I mean, I bought this on the dip. Everyone panicked it when that news didn't come out, and I bought that on the dip. The next thing that I did was I bought this on the dip. We put an alert out, and we bought this thing at like 205. I'll show you where we bought it. And the thing that people aren't getting about any of this, and now it's a different game, but we bought it that day, 205. The thing people aren't getting about any of this is they already delayed any increase in tariffs on furniture to make it more affordable for people. And so, it's not like you can go out there and find furniture makers. We're not swimming in furniture makers right now. So, not reasonably priced furniture makers. I mean, so keep that in mind. But I like those names. TPL scares me, and I don't know why. I should be all over it, but it scares the hell out of me here. So I'm not touching it. I don't know why it bothers me, but whenever my gut's like that, I stay away. I've done very well listening to my gut. NVIDIA, I own. I'm not going to get out of. I will say you're getting away from, you're starting to get away from, we don't need, like here, this is what you're getting away from. We don't need this fast of compute anymore. We can deal with this fast of compute, right? So this thing where, we're going to do the Blackwell, and then we're going to do the Rubin, and then this one's going to be able to do your laundry. Like, we're getting away from that, and we're going to, I don't need the Rolls Royce. The Toyota will get me there just fine. What I do need is some place to store all this data, and then have somebody that in my storage remember where that is, right? And this is your SanDisk and your this is your SanDisk and your Micron, and this would be your Seagate and your Western Digital. And this would be like your AMD or like your Google chips, right? Like that kind of stuff, or Amazon, what they're doing. And I think that's where this is going. So I think gross margins might start actually having a problem here. And they might start being cannibalistic on their own business, but you're going to have these cycles, and this cycle's going to get dragged out longer and longer. I own this. I have no intent of ever doing anything with it. Like ever. So that's where my head is with it. But we'll see. Yeah, Google's the place to be. Meta's in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I think, SanDisk, those names are just going to be on fire, but you have to be able to handle those and trade those. You're better off trading smaller positions of those names and being able to hold them. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at that. People are looking at Citi. I don't know. I think there's other names to be looking at there. I have I'm not buying this one. I own this. I'm trying to think what else. I just saw something yesterday. Oh, people don't understand this trade. So I've owned this for years, and I just bought more actually yesterday. I don't sell it. I just own it, and you should do what you want with it, but I don't sell it. I just own the damn thing. And it's absolutely fascinating what this company's done, and I don't see any reason that that's going to change. There's not many platforms that people can go to and say, I want to go buy a stock in, France, or I want to go buy a stock in Japan, and actually be able to do it in that currency without having, access to it. So their average client has about 400K in an account there, versus something like a Thinkorswim that's like 20 or something like that. So, but you should do what you're comfortable with. I see the thing with Citi. I'm wondering, like I bought a chunk of JP Morgan yesterday, and I'm looking at that, and I think I caught it, but I'm second guessing myself this morning because I don't have what I want. And I didn't get what I really wanted there. So I'm starting to second guess myself here a little bit on that. So we'll see. Yeah, it's cold today. I couldn't even put the top down today. What's going on? Good morning. Yeah, it's big news. You know, I think what's going on, Ricardo, let's do this because this makes a lot of sense. And it really does make a lot of sense to look at this name and to look at that space. I really think that. I think trucking's great overused, but JP Hunt came out today and said that like freight's down. So, but I think the trucking is going to boom. I really do. I think that makes sense. Markets are closed Monday. What's up, Jay? Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I literally shut down and go in the fetal position. Maybe I'll read. Love the Dune quotes. Way ahead of things, bro. Way ahead of things. Good morning from chilly New York. Good morning from chilly Miami. I don't know what it is here. It's super cold here today. Hold on. I'll tell you what it is. Hold on. I'll use the internets. Miami weather. Yay. 49 degrees. It's like, I don't know. It's insanity. Thanks. Hi, Nina. Let's see what we can do here. VSCO. I really like the name. How much risk do you have in that now that tariffs don't go the way that we think they're going to go? You know, that's my concern with it. All in on Netflix today. Why? Why don't you love yourself? What, are you going to buy that? You're going to stop the water? You're not going to stop the water. No. Now, there's some real issues here. I don't know what they're going to do. You got to really rethink that entire strategy. Well, you should do what you're comfortable with. But there's some deeper issues there if you're looking at that chart thinking about buying it. You think it's going to hold there? You know what I mean? Like, why? Why would we go all in there? Like, if they walked away from the deal, go for it. I would not be going all in on that today. I don't understand GSET enough in their placement to get involved in it. So the ones that I own that make the most sense to me when I really looked into it are like the ones that were absolutely slaughtering it in. SATS, I think we're up like 50% in. People really don't understand that company at all. SATS, we're up 50% in now, probably more. ASTS has just been a monster for the community. I mean, we've had dudes in that thing since $4. Rocket Labs and PL are completely misunderstood, in my opinion. PL finally gave us a chance to get involved. Rocket Labs is completely, like, people aren't getting that yet. They will. They will when SpaceX goes public. More liberation this weekend. That's what I'm saying, bro. You know what I mean? Who knows? You know, maybe Greenland. Maybe he'll mix it up. Maybe it'll be Iceland. Maybe someone should tell him Iceland's green and Greenland's ice. I just hit the little button on the internets right down here. I don't have it changed or anything. I have friends that have it changed and have their special setups and everything. I just hitting it, right? And then I have the same. I believe I have the same settings. I don't think I changed them. Is that what it is? Usually row size 150 and then 70. That's what I have, but you should do what you're comfortable with. I don't understand enough about this to tell you anything more. What's up, Mon? Yeah, but you know what's crazy about that? Like, it doesn't make any sense because if this is, and again, I don't own the company because I see what your point is. I get your point, Hall, because you're looking at it and saying, all right, well, they're going to go all cash. Well, if you're WBD, you could make the argument, we want the cash and we want the stock in Netflix because we want our shareholders to be able to grow with them, right? Like that would be your argument, right? Like that's a valid argument. Well, we want some upside over the years. And so we'll get upside by doing it this way, right? We're going to go to all cash. Okay, so now you're limiting my upside and you're giving me less than P-Sky? Like if you're giving me upside to the stock, it makes one thing. But if the number's the number and you're going to buy me out, 30 is greater than 28.50. What are we doing? Who cares about your vision? Like you don't care about the vision of the company anymore. You just pay me. You do what you want with it, but pay me. So I don't really follow that logic anymore of, oh, we better go to all cash. Like why? The only reason to go to all cash is if you're going to go all cash and you're going to be 31. So, and I'm wondering if that's where they go with this. But you know what I'm saying, Hall? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like if you're going to give me upside, give me upside. That's why people take a percentage of that and put it in stock. Also, because if they trade in stock, they don't have to worry about taxes as much, right? Because they just trade in kind. It's a merger. It's not an acquisition. So the taxes are different. So there's a couple reasons. And I think Netflix is actually screwing themselves doing that. But what do I know? Good morning. Fiber optics is super interesting. I think the cable stuff's super interesting, like GLW. I think GLW is super interesting, and I think LITE is super interesting. How do you have how are you losing money? Are you short stock, Mon? Oh, expiring. So you have puts. Read this book, Monica. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to give you a book. We're going to get some learning here. You should not be losing money on puts there. Start going further out on your options. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but start going further out in your options. When you get to 120, you don't lose the theta. You don't lose the time value if you go 120 days out. But where is this thing? I'll find it. And then I'll get to it. Let me find this for you, Mon. What the hell is this thing? Hold on. I got it on there. It's in the internet somewhere. Maybe I put it into... I'll grab it from here, Monica. Hold on one second. Read this book. Because this will really help you understand options. Because you should not be losing money on an option there. You know, you could be doing call credit spreads, all kinds of stuff. Hold on, let me grab it, and then you look at it. It's like $100. It's not a cheap book, but this is pretty much the Bible. And you can ask me anything you want about that stuff, Mon. I was a registered options principal for 9 years. But see this? Buy that book. It reads like stereo instructions. It's literally like. Yeah. So that's the book, but it's super thick. And like you can literally go through it and like you'll just pick different strategies. You don't have to read the whole thing, but like you can just go through it, thumb through it. And there's a study guide with it too. But that's pretty much like the Bible for people in options. So, but you shouldn't be losing money in options here, like not in puts. So they had to bleed you out through theta, right? And probably through time. They had to bleed you out through time rather than vol. So Rocket I own. Started anyway. I mean, if you just look at the industrial ETFs, what's wrong with just buying XLI? I mean, like, why do you have to go goofy? Just buy the straight ones. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. I really do. I think it's coming. Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense. Doesn't it, though? Oh, that's crazy. Did they? Taiwan Semi's a beast. They were great. They were a great quarter. Get that book. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. It's a great book. Yeah, it's a great book. Like, read that book. And you can flip through it. Like, you don't have to read the whole thing. Like, you don't have to read it in order, but like, oh, credit spreads. What's a credit spread? And there's actually a study guide with it. Like, for $100, it's crazy. I think the study guide's like $20. Reads like stereo instructions. No, you don't suck. You don't know what you don't know. So you just have to learn. Nobody sucks at it. You just don't have the right information. When you get the right information, you'll be incredibly good at it, right? So what you have to think about is not say it that way. You have to say it like, I don't have the right information to make the right decision. It's a big difference. I got to jump. Have a great weekend. Make good choices. And I don't know what I'm going to do for 3 days. I'll figure it out. See ya.